Hello everybody, Sawyer here. So today I have a review for a book called Skyward. It's published by Image Comics, and it's a pretty interesting kind of sci-fi, alternate reality kind of story. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to first off by saying that I love stories where one simple difference changes the entire world and the way people perceive it and the way people interact with each other. I love stories like that where you just take one little thing and you change it. It just so happens that the one thing that changes in this book is gravity. One day, everybody wakes up and gravity has lowered. It's become much higher, and so you see, and so it's actually kind of terrifying. This view we get as this dad opens his door and realizes that gravity's changed. And let me rewind a little bit because I got a little ahead of myself. So basically, the story follows this girl who is born like probably a few weeks before this happens. She's never known the world the way it used to be, and so this the beginning of the book starts off with her dad and her mom having like a nice breakfast, and her mom goes off to a jog, and the dad is sitting down. And the dad is a scientist that has been theorizing this could happen, but he couldn't prove it, and nobody would listen to him. And all of a sudden, it starts happening. So he knows how to kind of handle himself around, and he knows how to project himself and angle himself the right way. But the other people don't really know how to do that. And so he runs outside to try to catch his wife before she goes on the jog, but she's already started. Now she's in the middle of the air. She's holding on to a telephone pole, trying to hold on for dear life because she's afraid she's going to just float off into space like all these other people are doing. You see there's cars floating out into space, all this heavy stuff. So she tries to kind of pull herself off the pole and jump towards her husband, but it doesn't work, and she flows farther off into the atmosphere, and nobody knows what happens. So you could probably figure that she's probably dead, but she might not be. We might find out later. Who knows? But it's interesting, very interesting beginning of a story. We flash forward to 20 years in the future, where the daughter, I think her name is Wanda or Awua or something like that. I forget exactly how it's said, but she has become a delivery girl, like which is apparently a profession that a lot of people have in the future, because I guess vehicles are too heavy or something like that. They don't work very well with the gravity, so people just deliver the stuff themselves. It's a very interesting view into how the world has evolved and adapted to this new situation. Everybody has these harness things so they can grab onto everything. There's harnesses everywhere, little cables so they can grab on, so they don't kind of float too far out. It's very interesting how it works. We get introduced to one of her friends that's also a delivery person, and it's kind of an interesting insight because he's a paralytic. He has no legs, and so he actually really loves the way the world is, and he actually remembers how it used to be, and he talks about how this is the best thing that ever happened because he can move around. He has total freedom. And the same thing is for the main girl. She's never really known the world the way the world was before, so she likes the way the world is right now, and she's enjoying it. She wants to be more free. There's a scene here where she gets mugged or attacked by some guys that are trying to steal her package from her. She pulls out a gun on them, and it's interesting because guns in this world no one uses a gun because the force of a gun can knock you out into the sky very easily, and it's very dangerous. Well, she ends up using the gun, like pointing to the ground to get away from the criminals, and they're too scared to follow her because that's a big dangerous thing that she's doing, is shooting herself and farther up in the air. And as you see here, she goes so far up in the air that there's nothing to grab onto. It's just you can see the whole city. It's very beautiful, and she has to shoot the gun towards the air to pull herself back down so she can grab. It's very interesting how they do this. And I really like this book. I thought it was very interesting. I love the way they go into different social issues and different things that have changed now that there's no gravity in the world, or not the same kind of gravity anyway. There's a little bit of setup at the end because her dad, he's kind of bitter because he lost his wife to this whole thing. So he's been, trying to come up with a way to save, turn the world back to normal. So yeah, I definitely enjoyed this first issue. I'm interested to see like where this series goes, like what kind of stuff they explore later on. So yeah, I definitely would recommend it. It's an interesting little indie book, and check it out, guys.